welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's weekend frivolity is a Broiler Chicken Show. Woo-hoo. Wow, it looks like we made it into crypto summer. Are you ready for it? God, you can just see all the signs. Everything's just coming to life. Oh, God. The shillers, they're all ready to go. The only thing that's missing here, which would probably mark a top, is we haven't heard any Gucci sweater wearer people coming in and doing their thing. But oh my goodness, the interestingly enough, the actual people that I think kind of know what they're doing in this space, they're starting to come alive. Actually, what would be interesting? We haven't really heard too much from Crypto Chico. I would imagine he probably should come to life here pretty soon. He's been pretty quiet on social media. But wow, holy moly, you can just everything just coming to life, eh? Wow, holy moly. And of course, obviously, as we had pointed out here, actually, I think I did it in the tweet, but clearly, this presidential election was a huge event here. And it almost, it felt almost like me personally. And I had expressed this to other people and kind of said the same thing. Almost felt like an immense emotional release. I mean, also, I suppose for people who don't like Mr. Trump, this is like, oh my God, the end of the world. I got to sneeze, sorry. Excuse me. Only two. Oh, that's bad luck. Better not say anything stupid. We'll see what happens. Let's see who we got in the lounge today. We got Glass Insights. Glass Insights City's been around forever here. Rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah, tell me about it. We were barking about how I might have to dye my hair purple again. The goddamn thing's coming to life over there in DeFi land. So if any of you know that joke, yeah. Well, speaking of which, right? Omar, fucking, well, excuse my French. I think we gotta somehow have an edit thing. I'm surprised actually Google hasn't thought of that already, because I'm sure they can identify when somebody swears. So why couldn't you just have in an algorithm? Okay, after the fact, if you could just come in and just go bleep when you hear a swear word, it would make my life a lot easier. And then they can market all of the videos to everybody, right? I'm actually surprised that they haven't thought of that, because that would actually probably increase their revenues. Anyway, well, welcome back to the show. I don't know whether I guess you guys in the public, since we stopped doing those Coinigy shows, poor old Joe got let go by Coinigy. We don't even really do a midweek show. I know he was considering joining a charting platform that you all, of course, are well aware of. And we were actually thinking about maybe even just doing the show there, but I haven't heard from him. So, Joe, if you are watching this, reach out to me and let me know whether you landed on your feet. I suppose also, too, we should probably be seeing a whole bunch of other people that were relatively active in the crypto space start to come back to life again, including one gentleman who I was actually I don't even want to open up a can of worms or anything with all of this. It's ironic how this crazy faded universe works. But for the record, well before anybody was in crypto, or even crypto even existed, I used to use the concept of my client base that really didn't want to be called and harassed about getting stopped out or leveraged liquidations. As some TRIers in the lounge, they've really fallen in love with this liquidations concept, and you constantly see them. All right, there's a big stop pool that they're going to go after. So if you don't want to have anything to do with any of that, and keep in mind, most people investing, they don't want to have anything to do with any of that nonsense. They just want to go in, buy something, and okay, my money's working in the market. There was a very specific type of clientele that I had. And when we built this education program, or excuse me, when Brian Beamish, built this education program 10, 15 years ago, however long it was, I included it as one that particular client that I had when I was running a retail brokerage business in the stock market, as the little old lady type of risk taker in the market. And it is a very specific strategy of being able to participate in the market, relatively risk focused. That's the whole point of the little old lady, is she doesn't have to worry about things like taking too big of a bite out of her overall portfolio. So we've been teaching this concept for over a decade now. So anybody who is in crypto space within social media, for heaven's sakes, do not use the term little old lady and take personal ownership of a concept like that. That's a bit cheeky. Shocking how this world works, but anyway, it is what it is. As for the market, we actually sit here for quite a while, doing absolutely nothing. Because unfortunately we are risk takers, and that means that we have to see very specific criteria if we're thinking about taking a risk. And for the past couple of years, especially in an asset like Bitcoin, I don't think you could justify fundamentally coming in on the buy side, especially if you're a fan of these sort of cycles. And technically, of course, lower highs and lower lows defines a bear market. So this has been an interesting cycle in itself, because I've been in following Bitcoin and crypto like a hawk now for this is the first time I looked at Bitcoin was in 2013 when it ran up to $1,000. Well, that wasn't very smart of you, Brian. Did we get that on camera? I just literally dumped coffee all over myself. And actually, I wonder, there'd probably be bets, because I often watch these videos back afterward and I go, gee whiz, should take a lot of sips of coffee. So, so this particular post-halvening event, in my opinion, was actually a little bit different than previous post-halvening events. I will give you that. And I think it had everything to do with the fact that Bitcoin has been, quote unquote, securitized. I think an interesting, I think it's actually quite handy if you are sort of learning technical analysis, learning how prices behave, to actually mark significant events right on your chart. And interestingly enough, this particular chart with the previous levels that we had all mapped out, man, I hadn't had to change that chart for literally 6 months, because we just basically consolidated, went sideways. So I was actually caught off a little bit off guard when I loaded up everything this morning and pulled up the chart and went, oh crap, all the levels have changed. All right, well, I actually have to do some work here now. So hopefully you see this chart looks a little bit different than what we've been used to over the past 6 months. And I mean, it's just the way the market goes. Really, I don't think it's our job to really predict what's going to happen. I think that's going to happen. I think this is going to happen. I mean, everybody has an opinion. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. I mean, that's not what makes a good trader. Ironically enough, actually, if you are interested, I think it's a really good idea for you to follow my Twitter feed, because every Saturday, I fancy myself a futures trader. I think I'm getting myself back on a good course and seeing lots of green entries on net profit and loss boxes on a regular basis. So I'm heading in a good direction with my futures trading again. It took me a while to get sort of back on my feet in earnest. But anyway, so Monday to Friday, if I'm up at that time of day, then I should be focused on that. But on the weekends, of course, Saturday, it's kind of a quiet day. So I actually like to use Saturdays as sort of like, kind of learning day, if you will, mornings. And usually just surf around. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Druckenmiller. I think if there is going to be someone that you really want to try and emulate, these are the kind of people that you want to try and emulate in this world. Very, very intelligent. Although probably difficult for, ironically enough, Stanley, he doesn't fancy himself an academic. And ironically enough, half of the reason why he has done as well as he has, he says, just his confidence of his convictions. And then if the market proves that he's wrong, he doesn't fall in love with the position, just gets the hell out. And sometimes has to take pretty big loss. And actually, in this interview, he even talked specifically about how he got beat up in the dot-com peak, but actually ended up turning out, after booking a horrendous loss, actually ending the year positive, because he took a break and came back fresh. And turns out into the end of the year, he put on a really big winning trade. But anyway, the point being that it's not a bad idea just to follow mine. It's at CR Investor. Although I tell you, I'm going to lose a bet if I don't get off my ass. I'm supposed to move over to the DeFi version of this Twitter verse here. Anyway, really enjoyable interview there with Mr. Druckenmiller. That was sort of my Saturday morning learning. I think obviously last weekend we had Mr. Rogan and Mr. Trump. I watched that last week, and I thought that was a really good piece. So anyway, if you do have an opportunity, feel free to, and by all means, both CR Investor and at TRIPMA. This is sort of like TRI's Twitter account. And I think the team posts some really great content for you to consider. So, these are just just follow social media. Probably a good couple accounts for you to consider. Can't remember where I was going with that. I kind of got off topic there as usual. So where's their newsletter? Because that's what I should be looking at here and talking to. I guess I was barking about the weekly Bitcoin chart. Yeah, there's the newsletter there. Oosh. So this show on Sundays is basically a combination of this newsletter, and really I like to speak off of it. You can get this newsletter for free. It's just a little one pager that summarizes what we do in the markets. And if anything, or at least what I'm doing, if anything, I really like this because I can actually go back on a regular basis. I post my winning trades, and I gotta say, this is a fantastic advertising platform. I mean, we're constantly spitting out winning trades here. I take small bets and I try to basically, buy against bottom ends of ranges, sell against top ends of ranges. If assets do double in price, let half of it go on a double, blah, 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 blah. The strategies don't really change a hell of a lot, but we do have various different approaches doing a bit of spread trading now in the options pit. Banged out a really nice trade there on BABA there, I guess a month or so ago. Actually hunting a short setup on wanting to short China and the biggest bank. And actually, I even heard another fundamental justification. It turns out that the banks here in China are disregarding people's uncredit worthiness when they are renewing their mortgages. These stress tests that banks normally say, no, we won't lend you any money because your credit sucks. Well, this is exactly the same thing that happened in the US market at the end of 2006, 2007, where basically they were lending money to anybody and everybody. So fascinating how you can actually see the wheels of history basically repeating. And I like the idea of being short China. Also, too, hearing that Julian's warming up, and he was reminding us in our latest team meeting how the idea to be short Germany is actually gaining traction. So might even be looking through the week for some short proxies on Germany. But I definitely will say that if it's one thing that this past week has seen is the United States and greed cycles. Everything we teach in our education program is basically right on cue. This is the part of the cycle where you should be bullish of the US dollar. You should be bullish of the hegemony, and it happens to be the US dollar and the US dollar index and all that. You should be bullish of growth. You should be bullish of capitalism. Ironically enough, you should be bullish of capitalism. You should be bearish of socialism. You should be bearish of communism. You should be bearish of shop teachers wearing fake breasts and poisoning your child's minds. Because frankly speaking, I don't think society is going to put up with that crap anymore. In fact, actually, when I go on YouTube, if you follow the stand-up comedians, this is total sort of society shit, not probably relevant. But I'm seeing a lot of stand-up comedians now going, fuck your pronouns kind of thing, and doing whole stand-up routines making fun of that. So you can see the pendulum is shifting. And, obviously the stock market in itself really shouldn't surprise us what we're seeing. In fact, I mean, the irony of it all is that I lay this out in our education program, and I would strongly suggest that you all seriously consider, if you don't have yourself on a trading plan, if you don't understand the mechanics of running a small business of trading, then I definitely think you should get your butt in our education program. Just get yourself up to speed, because there's going to be a lot of money made here over the next year or two, and I can absolutely guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people that lose a lot of money. It's just the way the capitalist machine works. This is bread and butter, part of our education program. I've been showing you these images for quite some time now, and I don't see any reason why this history isn't going to repeat itself. It's stunningly cliche. Which is interesting, because this is just nothing more than cycle analysis, just understanding that everything moves in circles. This is like the 80-year life cycle of capitalism, and this happens to be the sort of similar part. I hope you can appreciate what's going to happen here over the next 10, 20 years. That's the irony of it all, is that, at the bottom of this cycle, this is the hardest part to actually sell the public to actually be long. So anyway, it is what it is. I like the idea that, frankly speaking, Mr. Trump, like him or not, he is very good for USA Inc. If you think of a country as like a company, and what's good for the company, he is very, very good for the country itself as a sort of an entity, an organism in the marketplace. And of course, this follows right along our, greed, fear cycle thesis, and, the interesting thing with that is I can show you an image that basically actually, it might even just be this one. Again, another core concept in our education program. What should we be expecting here? Unfortunately, we went through a very tough part of the cycle, the fear cycle. And unfortunately, probably most people watching this video, they don't even know what a real greed cycle looks like. I mean, the irony of it all is that we're actually, what now, 6 years into this greed cycle. Have you watched how have tech stocks done over the past 6 years? Have any of you noticed? Has the NASDAQ moved up a bit over the past 6 years? Maybe a little bit, just slightly. I don't know. Has Bitcoin moved up a little bit, just slightly? Anyway. So the last image that I showed you was taking the whole money printing out of the equation. This is in keeping the money printing in the equation. And now you can actually understand what the sort of the bankster plan is, right? And if you actually draw like trend channels using this peak, I just happen to have done a trend channel off of this particular range, painting this. And actually you can see we've moved well above that. I probably should update this. But the point of the matter here is that we are either going to look like this greed cycle, or we're going to look like this greed cycle. Well, the problem here is that if you think about the money cycle and that Bretton Woods kind of concept, we actually fundamentally, our society looks a hell of a lot more like this greatest generation, the people that fought the Second World War, and came back and sort of reestablished. And, keep in mind, that was an incredible growth period for the United States of America. I think our current cycle looks a heck of a lot more like the 1940 cycle. In actual fact, I think there is an image that I've been passing around the site. Actually, I probably have it as a I've showed it in the previous videos. I don't have time to actually go and find it right now. I end up getting off topic and an hour disappears, and it's like, oh, okay, now what was I supposed to be talking about? But the point of the matter here is that, and this is basic core concepts of our education program, we are actually doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing here. Everything is just marching along exactly per plan. In fact, it's almost scary. I got to show you this because it is freaky how, I know everybody probably watching this video thinks that we're actually living in really unique times. And I would actually make the argument that no, ironically enough, everything is stunningly cliche. And I just got to show you this one image because it's so funny. I was talking to this accountant a while ago, and accountants, they're swimming numbers, and that's fine. I mean, it's their life, right? And they're like, oh, you should be long the market. And I'm like, well, do you know what it is that I do? I mean, I'm the last guy in the world you should sell mutual funds to, right? So anyway, so here is the greatest generation, and here is the baby boomers. I don't think we're doing the baby boomer cycle. I mean, ironically enough, we should have had like a stock market crash in here somewhere, but that never happened. But it is fascinating. And, there is the sickness part of the cycle. But look how we behave following the sickness and the growth here. And look how closely we're following that. This is the greatest generation's particular cycle. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we've got this like relentless bull ahead of us here? And how ironic, if you go out in society, everybody and their brother is looking for the market to crash. Interestingly enough, and then, this is another part of our conversation. Should we be expecting stock prices to move up in this? Where are we on this sort of the bigger picture cost of money? And interestingly enough, in the periods where this blue line is the short-term interest rate, that's charged by the central bank de jour. It happens to be down in the States now, the FOMC, or really that's just the body that sets rates, but the U.S. Federal Reserve Board. It's neither U.S. Maybe we should be careful with that one. It's neither federal nor is it a reserve, and it's not even really a board, but it's definitely not U.S. And in fact, when I did the interest rate every month when the FOMC does their thing and Jerry does his speech, and I tell you, we got a really interesting soap opera developing between Donnie and Jerry. This. You know what? Somebody should do some funny meme where they have like a I'm almost thinking like some sort of love-hate relationship, right? Donnie and Jerry. And Donnie is like Walter Matthau from what was the name of that show? I think it was called I want to say The Odd Couple. Was that what it was called? The Odd Couple with Walter Matthau? Jim and Liz, actually, you guys would, you probably are old enough to remember that. And then, was it Jack Lemmon? I think was the other guy. I think they were called the Odd Couple. I can't remember, or maybe it would be like Stadler and the other guy from the Muppets. But I think there could be a really funny parody that they could do of Jerry and Donnie, because I think these two are going to go to war with each other over the next couple of years. Now, I did hear Rickards, and Jim Rickards, I think, is pretty damn smart. And I did hear him saying that Jerry's term ends in 2016. And so as a result, or excuse me, 2026. So as a result, it's probably not likely that Donnie's gonna like risk the political capital to actually try and oust Jerry. It's just not worth it. I mean, why not just sit here and just, if anything, and I liked how Rickard said this, was it looks like the global economy is in big trouble. You've heard me talk about how much I absolutely love China, right? Is anybody? I don't know, Jim and Liz, let me know. Am I bullish or bearish of my country right now? And according to the education program that I teach, and I've taught here for the past 10 years, and it served me absolutely perfectly. We're doing exactly what is supposed to happen this part of the cycle. Canada is a short. And I put out tweets. So you want to follow my little Twitter feed there. I put out tweets at least once a week. What does Canada is a short look like? And it's stunning how brutally awful the fundamental situation in this country is getting. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. Every day, this stupid Justin idiot's still in office. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So anyway, that's here and there. You all know. The point of this image was just to simply try and articulate where are we in the cycle. I mean, what happened after 2008, 2009, not before, 2007, 2008, that's when the crash happened, but what happened afterward, right? And so why were they cutting rates? Because the market was not doing so well. Then conversely, what happened in 2017, 2018, heading into 2019, they were actually raising interest rates. What happened in 2021? Well, they had to cut rates dramatically. It was phony baloney sickness nonsense. Right. And then what happened when, Biden and the socialists all took over Washington, some great protest against Mr. Trump. And of course, they jammed through absolutely insane money printing and spending that really the U.S. government doesn't have. And why is the U.S. government right now spending 7% GDP on their budget? Like, what the hell's going on? Why are they doing this? It's nuts. And everybody in the marketplace is like, this has got to stop. So I have a feeling Mr. Trump's going to probably bring that to an end real quick. And actually, interestingly enough, I've never really been a fan. How ironic, but it just is the way it is. But I do get the feeling we're going to start seeing Alan a hell of a lot more in our lives if you didn't think you'd seen enough in your life, especially if you're an American citizen. Be interesting to see whether the world elite actually turn their back on Alan. But anyway, only time will tell. But he said that he thinks he can cut literally trillions out of the U.S. budget and their deficit just by cutting the insane waste and bureaucracy. So that'll be really interesting because that's one area that I think you can actually fix a lot of the fiscal problems. We show, the debt clock going through the roof and stuff like that. You could probably fix a lot of the fiscal problems in government if you just simply reduce the size of government, like $500 hammers, those kind of stories. The worst part about it is in my country, the situation's getting worse. And now government itself, which doesn't do anything, actually represents about 45% of the Canadian economy. I mean, you want to talk about a potion for disaster. That's it, folks. And this currency of ours is toast. I mean, it is in real trouble here. So, it's really tragic. Mark my words. After the Canadian currency collapses, maybe people like Colin have a little bit fresher respect for my warnings in the future. Remember, usually I'm right, usually I'm early. I don't think a lot of Canadians appreciate how bad this situation is fundamentally and how precarious the currency is. The currency could literally, I don't think it's going to fall in half, but it could easily take like a 20-30% haircut just like that. It's kind of sad, really. But anyway, so back to our story. Point here is that in these parts of the economic cycle, when the Fed is friendly and they're reducing interest rates, that's usually because there's some sort of overriding economic problem in our society, right? I mean, obviously, this was like the dot-com bubble bursting, right? Well, we better take rates down. So that's usually a sign of economic weakness. So something's brewing here. And as I said, I think the only thing that was keeping my country afloat, sadly, was the real estate market, and that bubble's burst. And what's ending up happening is the only way that they're justifying the prices of these real estate assets staying as high as they are is, like I said, they're going to knock the shit out of the currency. But as I said earlier, Julian, completely on the other side of the world, him talking to people, and it makes perfect sense that if you listen to Peter's on, he's talking about how basically this Russian war is actually the worst thing that's going to happen out of this is like countries like Germany are going to completely deindustrialize and ship all their production over to like North America. And of course, here comes Mr. Trump saying, hey, you want natural gas? You want energy? We can give you all that you ever want. So, I mean, you can just see the wheels of capitalism. Money is leaving, Central Eastern Europe. It's heading over to the United States. And I don't think that trend is going to slow down. I think if anything, it's going to accelerate here over the next 5-10 years. As I said earlier, with these cycles move in 17.5-year waves. And we're probably going to have a pretty nasty correction here into like the 2030 area, and actually this is a good trivia piece of question. If Adam was around, he'd answer this in a heartbeat. When do recessions usually happen? Like if we were actually going to plan for a recession, when should we plan? Years that end in what's and what's. So does it really make sense for us to actually expect a downturn here over the next year or two? And it's interesting that there are quite a few people here in the market that are actually looking for a downturn. But I think what ends up happening here is I think actually we're going to work our way higher here, maybe over the next 6-8 months kind of idea. And you notice that our Benner cycle, we're actually supposed to peak this little mini wave coming out of 2023, right? And this, you can see it on the interest rate curve here. So we're supposed to actually be in sort of a friendly part of market state. If you're a capitalist, this is the part of the cycle that you want to make your money. But notice into like 2032, oh boy. Hey, there's Adam. Notice, and I have a feeling this is going to be uglier than this might even, in fact, actually, we have one longtime site member, Sonny, who's kind of talking about how he thinks that we're going to have like a roaring 20s kind of scenario. That was the 1920s. And then unfortunately, we could very easily have a very dirty 30s. And that was actually, Great Depression. I don't know whether it's that bad. Um, Maybe if we're really lucky, we just go sideways. But I could see countries like China could be in really, really bad shape here. Countries like Russia could be in really bad shape here. Uh, I think that the powers that be might actually try and start like a US sort of civil war through this window. And it's going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening in the US in 2028. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of sort of consolidation here following the election. I think it's healthy, especially following the big rally that we're going to enjoy here. Well, it's happening right now, but it wouldn't be in the United States that I'd be looking for real material weakness. The real material weakness through this part of the cycle, especially going into that peak of the U.S., it's kind of like, what was the recession in the US like in 1991? If you actually look, because keep in mind, 1991, oh boy, it was really bad for China. In fact, we had in like 1994, I think it was, um, there was a budget that Paul Martin had to pass in China. Might have been 95, 96, but I seem to remember it was in 94, somewhere in that area. And it completely just destroyed the consumer. All the tax breaks, their taxes went zooming up, and they would introduce things like GST, which we never had in the past, and capital gains exemptions was completely wiped out. I mean, they just destroyed us because the Canadian government was basically bankrupt. And my hunch is the exact same thing happens this particular bad part of the cycle. I wanted to show you China to them, but no, I don't need to go. Actually, no. That's the one thing I don't like about these charting sites is they don't really have that much long-term data. I got to figure out a better way to do that with you guys. So anyway, so the point here is that I actually think that we rally into the end of 25, probably into the early part of 26. So you might as well enjoy this. And of course, what have we been seeing here since the election? The market, I think, ironically enough, the market, all it's doing is it's just following the normal cycle. It's not really doing anything out of the ordinary. Interesting from a breadth perspective, and this is why I really like this tool that we've built here. You can really see it like in the S&P 500 here. I mean, you can see the W down, up, down, swam against those lows. Yes, it was a lower low, but you can see on election day, the whole damn market just went, I'm a bull, get out of my way. Rawr. So, do you think that's going to rub off on other risk assets? Obviously. So, and also, too, like, I can't stress enough how significant the particular part of the cycle we're in right now and this signal coming in. So, there's your crypto, I'm a bull, get out of my way, roar. We actually had the really washed out, oh my goodness, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater signal back in October here in crypto. And you've heard me talk about anytime you ever see the short and the medium term histograms go egregiously oversold, that is your pay attention. The market is washed out. It's time to start getting bullish. And I got to tell you, man, this thing worked absolutely perfectly through this. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it did the job absolutely perfectly. So, is this of any value to you? If you trade these markets, is something like having this kind of notification system in your mailbox, and access to this kind of information on a daily basis, is that handy? Is that worth like $80 a month? I think so. But our job over the next month or so, I guess, into this Black Friday deal, it's probably only about 2 or 3 weeks away, is to try and convey the value. So hopefully you can understand that was a pretty damn powerful signal there that we got there in crypto. And actually interesting, I haven't really gotten it in the broader stock market the way that we got it in our crypto top 30. So that was kind of cool. But also too, where this signal happens. That's what's super incredibly powerful about this. Because look, this model here, the weekly commodity trend survey, which is what I used to do as a commodities broker, I would do this for the whole commodities markets. This is just strictly in the crypto market, but it's the same principle. We're just going to simply ask, where is price right now relative to where it's been over the past year? 52-week high, 52-week low, and the 50% level. If it's below the mean, well, then that must mean it's kind of cheap, wouldn't it? And then I've used this moving average system forever as just a very simple way to keep me honest with regard to the trend. And that is the weekly 13 EMA versus the weekly 30 SMA. And what is their relationship? If the EMA is higher than the SMA, then that's bullish. If the EMA is lower than the SMA, then that's bearish. So we have a situation like this APT where we have the price is below the 50% level, and the fast moving average is actually above the slow moving average. And we have an absolute best reading in our sort of weekly survey of the top names in the cryptocurrency space. I mean, there couldn't be a better sell signal, or that's not the right term. There couldn't be a better sales pitch I could give you why you'd want to have access to this information, because at the top of the market back a couple of years ago, there was nothing in this attractive long hunting. And now look at it. They're right. Almost everything on this damn screen is basically attractive. And you want to know what attractive looks like? I picked up some of this ADA the other day just because I was like, oh my God, I buy against the bottom ends of ranges. And I mean, this is what we do, and this is what I want to train you to do. The good part about it is that we're finally back in a market where we can actually demonstrate this. Question is, where the hell am I going to show you? If we go over here. Ooh, look at Shib. It's taking off here. I have a whole bunch of buy orders working. Oh, Jesus. Oh, fucking dog money's going crazy. Oh, excuse my French. But here, this is it. Oh, look at that. Oh, nice trade. All right. So, this is everything that we're trying to teach you to do. So, I draw my reload zones. I went through my stink bids in, and actually this one, I just said, I can't believe how cheap this darn thing is. Against the bottom ends of ranges. Of course, anytime I can get long off of 78.6s, I'm going to be doing that. And sure enough, kaboom! And this one's so cool because, we trade 3-step setups at TRI. And if you wanted to trade this, right, use a little bit of leverage, this one was just nice little nanny nibble, little old lady Brian Beamish's risk management strategy model. So buying this no brainer, but hell, if you were leverage trading, my goodness, this is everything that we teach. Wait for trade location, 78.6, bottom end of the range. Love it. Let's have a whole bunch of divergence. Look at all these signals here out of the momentum. This is just absolutely beautiful. Like literally, if I was going to teach a course on how to trade, this is it right here, folks. It's staring you right in the face. I think this is what I teach you guys all what to hunt for, the whole thing. And it's like, right. And the thing is that this only happens about once every like 4 years, where you get, the market itself, and using our time tested, commodity trend survey on a weekly basis, these things, 90% of the crypto universe is probably quote unquote attractive to invest in, right? And remember, who buys the tops of markets? Do institutional players buy market tops? I mean, think about this. This is why it's so important that you understand. I'm trying to teach you all. Institutions buy down markets. They buy markets where the asset is below its 50% level on its 52-week range. They buy assets, and if you can, even better, hunt assets where the moving averages are turning up. But even if they're sort of still floundering down here, the point here is that these would only be attractive when they are trading at the bottom ends of their ranges. And that's, if you want to make money from trading, that's what you have to learn how to force yourself to do. Don't chase, right? Has anybody ever heard me use that expression before? Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. Now, if we get big fat W's and breadth indicators, and like I said, I think what is this? The cool part about it, the newsletter just shows you, just nice and simple here. I thought I had it loaded. Actually, I'd be curious what happens when you click on that. Oh, look at that, loaded up. All right, so cryptocurrencies, look at this. We got actual buys, but look at this, hunting buys, 11 of them. Talk about a shopping list. I don't know whether our stock screening model is working very well on this. It's kind of maybe a bridge too far to hope to have, but I think the crypto signaling system is working very, very well here. And I think it'll serve you all very well just to simply follow the message that the breadth is telling you, and whether you should be hunting longs, whether a name is attractive, or whether maybe you should just leave it alone and let it consolidate a bit. I mean, ironically enough, I'm not really excited about going and aping into things like Bitcoin, especially not now. Now that we're at a new 52-week high, I couldn't participate in that. But these altcoins, I mean, this ADA, I mean, this is everything that I do. I don't know. If you want to participate in markets that look like that, that has got me written all over it. And the irony of it all is I bought this at 33. I'm gonna be selling here soon. Don't be surprised if you actually hear me that I'm banging out doubles already. And I just bought this thing just a few days ago. I mean, that's what happens in this silly space. In fact, actually, interesting. I already have a shod working all the way up top there. That's oh. What does that say? 94? That means that I'm long from 45? Where's 45? That would be over here. All right. Well, anyway, I better make sure I have the correct notated. But anyway, you can see maybe my double's here. I don't know. But I mean, there are worse positions to be in, I suppose, right? Anyway, so I can't tell you how bullish I am. I'm pretty enthusiastic. The only problem is I don't like the idea of chasing. As I said, I can't buy Bitcoin here right now. It's just too expensive. I suppose there was somewhat of a long setup there. It was a trend continuation trade, probably a little bit outside my comfortability zone. And that was to basically buy this weekly W. So we went down. In fact, actually, this was the WA. We went down, then we came back up, and you can see there is the bot entry level 64,669. So down into this panic dump low, rallied right back up to that 4,669. I think that's what I said there, 4,669. Yeah. Then back down. And this is what kind of had me a little bit confused. We actually painted a lower closing low. So that changed this image to that. That was very difficult for me to get bullish in the face of that. Having said that, market will do any old damn thing it wants. Rallied right back up against these highs, took this high out, then consolidated for 2 weeks, and then put in a doji right at. You remember this is our bow tie, Casey's bow tie. And I think you could actually argue that that's almost like the midpoint, sort of focal point of this move. And now we're in the end portion of this consolidation move right here. And, today's peak, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually rally up into this 1.618. I've told you before what I think about 1.618s on these alt A, B, C, D levels. I would actually argue if I was a futures trader, that's like a no-brainer trade location. I would be hunting for divergence and then ultimately a nice M top, if nothing more than just to pause the market, because that's kind of what happened through the election event. Where is it? Oh, I don't have it on this. It's on the laptop. Damn it. Maybe I have it over here. Maybe. Fudge. Nope. Actually, you know what? Maybe might be up here. I had 20 different charts, 20 different directions. Survey says, oh, there it is. Whoop, there it is. All right. Well, anyway, this is a bit sloppy, but it'll work. So coming out of the election, let's go there. Let's maybe take down to 30-minute. All right. So on election night, we had interesting rally. This was the election event evening right there. And actually, it was interesting heading into the election. We were talking about how bullish bots were setting up in like demo on the site, demo traded going long. Took some profits, took some more profits, and then I just bailed on the rest of the position right here. Hindsight's being 2020. Obviously, it was a bit early to bail on the rest of that position. Shortly thereafter, if you just simply drew an A to B, excuse me, and then here we'll do it backwards so you can understand. So there is the bot objective way up there. So we bring that back to there. So we'll say that's C to D. And then we just clone that, and off of that peak, that was off of this base here. So you can go A, B, C, D. That paints this latest objective. So usually, as I said a few minutes ago, if I ever see the market run up into 1.618 following bot trades, this is a harmonic AB equals CD, and sometimes these AB equals CDs can go up to 1.272, called an alt ABCD, sometimes all the way up to 1.618. And that's what basically happened on this one. It was a move all the way into 1.618. And on election night, I even commented that I let some go on, the Twitter feed, and this was a fascinating level. But look at how the market put in basically a double bottom right off of that level. That was incredible when I saw that. So ironically enough, what that kind of implied, and then the question becomes, okay, well, maybe they're not done, and maybe they want to do another leg. So A to B off of the double bottom. If we project that, then that's C to D, which paints this bot. 25 level happens to set up right off of that level. Is that an accident? I don't think so. So I get the impression that there was an initial bot through the election, popped into profit objectives. And interestingly enough, this is just the first part of the move. Remember, I've always talked to you guys about this, how markets never move in a straight line. Usually they move in one part. So you have one move, boom to boom. Then you have a bit of a consolidation, and then that sets up the second part of the move. Boom to boom, wherever the hell that's going to take us. Something like that. So does that mean we go to 127s here? Interesting level. But hopefully you can kind of see that I think what happened there on election night was you had the first initial burst, right? First initial burst, there to there. That was half of the move. Then we had a consolidation, and now you're actually seeing the second part of the move over here. All right, hopefully I did that twice for you. You get the idea what I'm shooting for. So what that means to me, of course, is, there is the 25 level. And this is why sometimes as a professional trader, sometimes it's actually in your best interest not to overthink this shit. And just if you are a bot trader and this is in your trading plan and you see the market pop up and then you see the market start to consolidate and you start painting your bot levels, you just buy this. You just look. I'm a trader. That's all I do. Is I draw my bots and I buy them. I'll put my stop below this level, and you can go. Okay, there's one low. There's two low. There's three low. Okay, Brian gets his three lows. Maybe you just buy the W. I don't know, but I know a lot of traders that would be like, I don't even care. At 50% of the anticipated move, I always think it's a good idea to move your stop to scratch because then that way, you don't really want to see a trade that you're making a ton of money on, and then all of a sudden it reverses. I saw that happen in crude oil the other day, and I just got stopped out in the middle of a video on site with the site people. Just got stopped at scratch. No big deal. Shit happens. Come back next day. You just don't want to be like up a huge amount and then you turn around and you're actually losing money. That's psychologically difficult. So anyway, this is a good example where you take the bot and look how they brought the market right back down. Are they going to hit the bot level? Nope, psych. New W, away we go. So, great commentary on the market. I mean, just beautiful analogy. I think this is probably a good example of probably it would be there. I guess right there would be like the double bottom actually fired there, somewhere in there, right? Blah, 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 whatever. But interesting now how we're starting to come into these alt ABCD levels. And now look at all the divs that are starting to form up here. So you could make the argument that we're starting to get a little bit nosebleedy. We got to new highs. People had actually pointed out on the site that the futures markets are going to open up, and they're going to open up with a horrific gap. So I don't know where the best place to show you that is. I think I had the charts on the laptop, and I'm on the big computer right now. So I don't know where the heck this thing is going to open, but you can see the cash market sitting 79.5. And here's the futures market here, 77.1. And this is just the spot, one exclamation. So there's going to be a gap opening here. But this actually brings up a really interesting concept. Because if we look at this futures market, what does Bitcoin actually do this kind of stuff right around this part of the cycle? Like if we go to, actually, you know what, let's stay on a daily chart and let's go back to the last time we had one of those happening things. And that was through here, right? May, right in there. And let's go boom, and let's go boom, so you can see it, right? And look how these futures all went kind of crazy, just as we were sort of breaking out to new highs. And I think this is kind of important, folks. So notice that, right there. And look how the futures all of a sudden at this part of the cycle start going crazy here. Now, we know based on our seasonal chart, this one right here, we have a pretty good idea. Say you can see how we're transitioning from spring into summer. And if you think about this from that interest rate conversation, all the pieces, you should all start. And if anything, all of you should really try and replicate these charts, right? And these studies. I mean, hopefully you start seeing the correlation. Oh, so Bitcoin goes into its spring season when it's kind of like the Fed is, tried to put the brakes on the economy and has kind of said, all right, enough is enough. We'll just, go sideways. And it transitions into summer as soon as the Fed starts to say, okay, we're starting to see some weakness around the world. We're not worried too much about inflation anymore. And if anything, we want to, encourage growth. Do you see the correlation between this image and this image? It's basically the same conversation, just expressed a different way. Can you see how growth has been given the green light to start rocking and rolling? What do we want to see on our price charts? And this is basically a core concept in our education program. Let's see if anybody over on YouTube, are we still connected? Can somebody actually type something in the lounge? Or in the YouTube chat, I see it says chat disconnected. I suppose I was giving away all the 1% secrets and all right, there you are. You're still back in here. Okay, so who can tell me what is the one thing that we want to see on our charts that should make us bullish? 2 words. One of them is a letter. One of them is a time frame, and they both start with the same letter. Anyone? I'll even draw it out for you. Something like that, then like that, then like that, then like that, and it doesn't even have to be that pretty. There you go. Norre got it. Matt got it. Richie got it. Jim and Liz, right? But the key here is, and if anything, I think the key is the weekly W's, right? And this is a core concept we teach in our education program. You just want to start seeing higher highs and higher lows. Sloppy, but I think you can start seeing higher highs and higher lows. And now you can start seeing higher highs and higher lows, right? So up, down, up, breakout, right? If anything, the easy way for you to remember this is take a screenshot of this, right? What is it? It's the National Association of W Lovers. Right? You want to be like Bert. This should be, if anything, take a screenshot of this, find a link or something to this. This is our life. So I will take a screenshot of that and I will put it. I don't know whether I can or not, but maybe I got to do a link. Let's do a link. But this needs to be your life. And if you want to make money from trading, right, this needs to become like basically your modus operandi. There you go. There's the link. And we'll give you the YouTube video if you want to watch the video. Boom. There you go. Merry Christmas. And watch Money Masters if you want to learn how corrupt the banking system is. So the point being that, we're starting to get those weekly W's. If anything, I think, I've talked about my feeling of what's going on with Bitcoin and the securitization. And actually, I even heard Mr. Druckenmiller even talking about, well, sometimes if markets don't correct, then all they do is they turn into what's called a flag. And I get the impression that you could probably make the argument that that's what's happening with Bitcoin here. So the flag looks something along those lines. So this is your flagpole, and this is the flag. And what the technical objective is, you just simply take the flagpole itself, this distance, you clone that and you project it off of different parts of the flag itself. Do you take it off of the low? That would be sort of the conservative approach. I know some people, they like to project it off of the top end of the range. I would be more conservative, A, B, C, D, but that basically paints a target of $230,000. What? Don't. Jeez. What the hell's about to? Who gives a shit about the portfolio's been updated on the site? I'm going and buying a house for Liam. Sorry, Andre. They should be. That's if they aren't, can you open up a support ticket, Andre, and just simply say, what the hell? Are these being updated? It's outside of my jurisdiction. All I'm supposed to do is just buy and sell and try and teach you guys how to behave in the marketplace. And that's totally fine, Andre. They should be. But that's outside my pay. I don't have anything to do with that. Just open a support ticket if you don't think they are. I'm here to trade, and that's what I want to focus on. I don't want to focus on the website or any of that kind of stuff. Don't mean to be rude. If anything, when CTOs and that kind of stuff come on the site, that's when you can ask those kind of questions. And like I said, ask in the lounge. I honestly don't know. They should be. We theoretically, like I've told you, as far as I take this, is any trade that I do in the market, I will post in Brian's trade room. So, this size, for example, is a cheeky little double, just banged it out. Just to, anything that I'm going to do in the marketplace, I will post in here. All of the bids that I've been getting filled on Kraken, because I'm not going to do the DeFi route anymore. I lost a lot of money to stupid scammers. So I'm not really excited about doing the whole DeFi thing anymore, but I am trading away on Kraken, and it should be reported on the site. All right. Probably, what time is it here? 12:23. Where should we take the conversation next? I mean, I think I've talked this into the ground. I think you have a pretty good idea of what I'm thinking going forward. There's some pretty aggressive upside targets here. I don't think it's straight line. It never is. So I guess the question is, would it make sense for us to maybe have a little bit of a pause here around 1.618s and Foggenbaum levels? I put out a tweet. Where the hell was that? And I was just like, oh my goodness, this, strong like bull kind of thing. I don't think it's a good idea for any of us to step in front of this thing. You're just asking for trouble. Of course, if your assets double in price, that's always a good sign. When we start seeing divergence, you start hearing people say, oh, this time it's different, it's okay and justifiable to buy up here, then that we're probably done. I think in the short term, though, I don't really have a problem with this price stabbing its way up into this sort of 85 grand area. That really, it wouldn't shock me if we stabbed up into that area. And I think I showed you on, this Solana, what a great example of a bot setup, eh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at these beautiful W's in here. There is the bot level. So you can see this thing's just taken off. Now, sadly, once we've gotten to this point, if we actually do have to come back down to the bot entry level, you probably should hop off at scratch, because it means that there's something fundamentally wrong with this bull. But I don't see anything stopping this thing. And, some of the names on Solana land, they look incredibly bullish. And I actually think that you're going to start seeing money start to come back into this part of the market. And if anything, we were talking about this on the site. God, there's just so many things to talk to you guys about. There's just too much. But we had commented, is interesting that I won't even waste time on that Trump coin, because there's just too many other things that are too fun to talk about. But we had like this whales here, like this. Oh my goodness. So when this space starts going crazy, right, and you start hearing about the kids all getting stinking rich off of this stuff, That's when you know we're at the end of the run. But you tell me, does this look like we're at the end of a move, or does this look like the move is just getting started? That's you have to put into context where we are. So I would say that when you hear the kids going all crazy about all the money that they're making in this space, which we did last sort of like March, April, right? When was that guy who he put out a video showing how he made a meme coin on the Solana network, and within like 24 hours, it had like $1 million market cap. So, are we in that kind of environment? Do you hear anybody doing that kind of stuff right now in Solana land? No. But when this thing, and you want to see what the tops look like, right? We all know what they look like. They look like this shit. We're going straight up, and everybody's getting all excited about how much money they're going to make. But this is actually the time when you got to leave this shit alone. Cotter, you remember we were down in that Caribbean. I wonder how they're feeling now, eh? Well, I guess they're all long Bitcoin, so they should be happy. I don't even think they even understood what a shitcoin was. And actually, I don't think we can call where we were the Caribbean. That was like Central America. Damn. Yeah, ETH is an interesting example. Unfortunately, I can't. ETH it's a head scratcher because if anything, what ETH is saying to me right now is it's saying I want to rally. Right, we have one higher low, two higher lows, three higher lows. This thing looks like it wants to go up. I mean, I will concede that. We did have nice little shorts that came in off these tops, and we still have a little bit left on that short trade. I think it's about an eighth of the position left, and the stop is at scratch. And I kind of said to you guys that I think I just want to leave that stop there. I don't want to tinker with that. This is the stock market. Where is crypto? And I kind of said that, I really wasn't like, I don't want to go and chase these outside of value. There's too many really juicy zones. Which one is it though? Is it this one? Maybe it's, yeah, there it is there. This is a head scratcher. You can see I was thinking that, there must be, kind of tops want to come in here and bought objectives, and they've just blown right through them. It is interesting. Look how we banged up into 4669s here, two of them, and we're getting rejected. It certainly isn't enough for me to start barking about shorting. But we did have the remainder of this position on. Remember, we had hit this. Yeah, there it is there. So the stop is at scratch on this. I don't think I really want to tinker with this. Just want to leave it alone. Having said that, you can see the bullish structure that this thing has put in. And off of these bottoms, I think you can make, in fact, actually, I think I have this on the laptop, but we could go, say, from this low here, back up to that high there. And chaos. And 2.618 takes us all the way up, right up against those old highs. I could easily see that. So if we're stopped at scratch on this, we're stopped at scratch. No big deal. Next bus in 10 minutes. Remember, right? This is took profit there, took profit there. So this isn't like we're just sitting on the original trade. This is just whatever's left over. Having said that, you can see I still have the order down here, but am I expecting this to get filled now? No, I don't think so. If anything, if this does get filled, then that means that whatever the rally is that we were anticipating heading into this Trump event here has petered out. What I find fascinating about this chart is that we're not really in a very good trade location right now. So there's Mountain Man down there. We just very briefly kissed him But you know me, I'm a cheap ass. I want to buy reload zones, which means that I want to buy down here. I want to buy a value, I guess. Well, which value's right there, Brian. But I want to buy down at the bottom end of the range. I can't justify coming in and buying here. I can't. It drives me crazy. And I probably get stopped at scratch on this short here. But I'm not going to move the stop now. I'm just going to leave it alone. Um, I have been sort of scratching my head about this one. And half of the reason why I was scratching my head was because I believe that Solana is basically eating this guy's lunch. But clearly he has come back to life here, no doubt about it. Was there some sort of fundamental catalyst that happened here? I don't know. There must have been something fundamental that kicked in here. But I do find it fascinating that like literally this thing turned on what day? Oh, well, that was the election right there. So do we just blame this pivot on the election and the fact, keep in mind, I think Mr. Gensler is not really that popular figure in this space. And I think that he has been kind of pooping on crypto for a while. And I think that Mr. Trump said publicly that if he was elected, he would fire Mr. Gensler the first day in office. And I think the entire crypto industry just went, whew, thank God. I really think that that's what's happened here. It is interesting how, for the past month or so, I've been sort of pitching the megaphone thesis here on Ethereum. And David, our sort of megaphone aficionado expert on the site, was like, yeah, I don't see it, Brian. And frankly speaking, it looks like he was right. There was no megaphone there. So, yeah, anyway, that is what it is. I'm never going to, I will never, ever tout to you guys that I am infallible. I'm just another human, just like all the rest of you. I mean, I happen to know some of the rules about risk management and do somewhat half decent analysis, 3 reasons for a trade. But um, in this business, if you want to survive in this business, this is the business where you have to have strong convictions, but they have to be loosely held. So there's a good example where, all right, I thought it was a megaphone, but clearly no top came in here, up here, and the market just blew right through that level. Clearly, there was no short trade or anything to consider there. So that's my commentary about Ethereum. Hopefully you didn't feel like I'm blowing smoke up your ass. Who was that? Somebody asked, and it's a good point that you make, right? Who was that? That was Mr. Loris B. Lalo. Do you feel as though I spoke to your inquiry? Good. I mean, I'm never going to tell that I'm like, I mean, fuck, if I was half as good as I think I am, I'd be sitting on my yacht right now. I wouldn't even be talking to any of you. Right? Isn't that how the story goes? So anyway, we'll see what happens. I personally think that we're going to run into a bit of a traffic jam here. There's too many fog and bombs, and keep in mind, all we're doing is just rallying up against the top end of a range here. You could argue that, well, if this thing starts showing signs of divergence, if I start getting up into things like reload zones, oh, there we are. I might actually even start thinking about hunting shorts here, but we'll probably be talking about this over the coming weeks. If there is a short here, it will develop over time. I don't think it's just going to be one day. We'll see. But it is interesting how this price just stopped right at those 24669s there, right? That's kind of fascinating. Anyway, so there's my comment on Ethereum. I guess the one thing that I think is actually pretty compelling here, and this is sort of like, are you listening to the actual market's message? That is this screen. I happened to see Ethereum on there, and that I saw that question, and I got distracted and spoke directly to about Ethereum there. But what I did for fun here was I just changed all of the time frames on this regular matrix from like half-hour charts to actually like weekly charts. And we actually had this conversation earlier. I said, what's the letter of the alphabet? What do you want to see where on time frame? And what you really want to see, and you can literally digest the entire market just based on this simple principle. Don't overthink this stuff. So let's do a survey and see whether you can see this, because this might be just impossible to see with all the gobbledygook on it. This one might just be way too hard. Let's just go. There you go. All right. And you know what? I'll get rid of it anyway, because I really do want you guys to answer this. So everybody look at this screen. And if you could, simply tell me, based on the very simple principles that I've been teaching you guys. Okay, this isn't rocket science. Don't overthink this. We remember Birch, right? What club is Bert a member of? While I'm doing this, can you please answer me? What club is Bert a member of? So you tell me. Thank you, Cotter. Thank you, Glass Insights. Where are the W's? Where should we be investing our money? Liz and Jimmy, right? This is It's just as simple as this. It really is. Wall Street will try and overcomplicate things for you. And then the guy's going to be wearing a fancy suit. In fact, somebody was like, I want to see Beamish in a suit. I gave up wearing suits in 2006 when I retired from the brokerage industry, and I started managing a private hedge fund with a couple of my private clients. And since that day, the only day I've worn a suit since, sadly, is the day of my wife's passing. Oh no, I mean the day of her funeral. Since then, I have never not worn a suit, and I really have no desire to. So, but just don't overthink this stuff. All of you can create a matrix like this. And what letter of the alphabet do we want to buy? And you tell me. Just look at this screen. Don't overthink this. This is a weekly chart. Tell me assets that you see W's on. Don't overthink it. Where are the W's? And they're as plain as day here. Where are the W's? What assets should we be buying here? Litecoin? Yeah, Litecoin's got some. How many? There's like 3 W's in a row on Litecoin. Oh, gee whiz, Ethereum? Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Not on C61 CME. No, look at that, eh? What? Oh, this C6. What is C6? And I don't know. Have you ever heard me talk about things like China? But you should be able to look at this and tell me instantly what it is that you should be buying or selling in the market. It's just this simple, folks. Should we be buying crypto? What's interesting is actually, should we be as bullish about Bitcoin relative to the rest of crypto? I don't know. I think we're it almost looks to me like maybe the old Bitcoin dominance kind of thing is kind of running out of steam here, right? And some of these others, like, look at this total. This is interesting. Who can tell me what price pattern this is? Yeah. Why don't we go off of something like that? Hey, I'm just eyeballing it. If you ever see and then whoop, oh, we lost it. Let's try that again. And then what is that? And look at what we're doing here. I mean, are we going up? Damn. Did I show you that ADA charts? I don't know. I think there is a lot of money to be made in this altcoin space right now. Oh my goodness, just absolutely insane amounts of money. Um, and I'm a little bummed because I was a little bit stingy coming in on the buy side, and I only got filled about maybe a third of the amount of orders that I wanted to get filled. I did get a bunch on the books, so I'm feeling okay about that. But I got a whole bunch of orders that are still working that I'd like to get filled. So if anything, I'm almost kind of rooting. Can we have a little bit of consolidation, please? And I mean, the interesting thing is from a currency perspective, like, do we want to be long the euro right now with that big fat M staring us in the face? And look at the Japanese yen. Remember, they were back in the middle of the summer. Someone was asking, "Oh, should we get all bullish of the yen?" And I said, well, this is probably just nothing more than a dead cat bounce back into resistance. And look how we never even got above these highs, and we went and emmed out, and we're just puking out here now. You can keep it as simple as this. This is the irony of this whole stupid game. So you don't have to overthink this. Just create like a weekly matrix like this. And if you see assets that are Wing out, then you've got buy signals. If you see assets that are Ming out, stay the fuck away. Maybe even consider buying a put option. I've talked to you at length about, the terrible situation in my country right now. So should it surprise us that the currency itself is spitting out M's? Does Bert like M's? Yeah, because and this is if anything, Omer, you make a good point. I think half of the reason, okay, well, there's that too. I think we're beyond that stage though now, Jim and Liz. Like when they were crying, that was like the middle of the summer. A really good example, and I'm probably running out of time here. Well, I got 15 minutes left. Were there any questions that I was supposed to answer, Chris? I didn't even see that today. All right, thanks, man. Okie dokie. Let's see. Where are you? There's the newsletter. There is the AMA. Boosh. Brian, why are you such a doofus? Oh, really? I come across doofusy? Let's see what we got. Somebody asked me about Reddit. They're over on YouTube. So while that's loading up here, let's dude up Reddit. Man, the stock I'm absolutely in love with now. How ironic is Intel? Look at Intel. I came in here as just purely a value trade. I wanted to buy a cheap stock. If I saw Intel below $20, I was like, oh my God, you got to get some of that on the books. Anyway, what is this? This is a daily chart. Yeah, probably gonna head up into this area. I won't sell any of this until we get up into these old highs. I'll sell half on a double and just put some away. You want a really good example of what I do here? I bought some of this. What's the communications ETF? Is it EWC? uh, no, that's not it. What is the communication? Oh, here's a communication services. I think it is. Oh, there it is. XLC. Yeah. So this is, if anything, this is absolutely exactly what I'm trying to teach all of you. So who can tell me what price can you see the screen? Oh, I know. EMKR. Those cocksuckers won't give me a fill. Oh, it's so funny. And the thing is there's a takeover bid like a dollar higher, but they just hello. Oh, this is interesting. What did we just see there? Yeah, load up your damn chart. What's going on here? Oh, hey, I might have gotten filled here because I had my order sitting just to top these guys. Friday, 8th of November. So that was Friday. Oh, I got to load up my account. I should have gotten a fill there because I had an open order working. So there you go. What's there to talk about, Omar? You should have gotten a fill here. I mean, it's beautiful bottom. This was absolutely textbook bottom. Anyway, on 320, nice, well done. Where did we have? Oh, interesting. The high there they're showing is 306. So did the actual deal close over the weekend? Yeah, I know. In fact, I like this company because they build the torpedo for the US attack subs. I mean, talk about a perfect business. You want to be in an absolute perfect market segment right now, be in the defense industry. Although, where's Cotter and his damn ammo stock? Holy crap. Let's not talk stocks. Oh, okay. So that, yeah. Because remember, there was a company that offered 320 a share for this thing, and we're long from like a buck and a half. So it was a great trade. It was absolutely perfect. But that's an old story. And Omar, I know you make tons of money, so I don't need to worry about you. Now, what was I talking about there a moment ago? It was what? Isn't that weird? Oh, here, I guess it was this. Yeah. So who can tell me? You should, especially considering the conversation we just had about Mr. Burt on that chart. Where are you supposed to be long? And this is exactly what I want you to learn, like Jim and Liz. This is exactly what you are supposed to be learning here when at TRI. So I don't know whether that's the best example of trend line breaks, but I suppose you could argue any kind of bullishness on the other side of the trend. I basically just bought this W here, because it was kind of like an inverted head and shoulders. And I'm long basically the breakout here at $50. So this one here is now getting close to $100. I actually have to go and actually get sell half on double orders working, and these are on big mutual funds. So feeling pretty good about that. And then I bought actually another mutual fund recently on this beautiful bottom. I've been barking to site members forever about this mutual fund. So these are the kind of assets that I kind of try and want to buy in my retirement account, sort of bluer chip, if you will. But the irony of it all is EMKR was like a penny stock. So, I mean, I'll buy that. But you tell me, has this thing got any room to move up here? This is a mutual fund. I mean, probably, a lot of our site members don't like to use data prior to stock splits and stuff. So, maybe we just use this particular range, but my average cost here is about 5.5 on this thing. So maybe I'll let some, sell half on a double up around $12 there. That'd probably be a good idea. But hopefully you can see, weekly W's. This is what you're supposed to be hunting. This is actually a monthly W, and really, I because this is a mutual fund, and because they are in the growth arena. What do you think? If we like weekly mutual funds, or if we like weekly W's, not weekly mutual funds, that doesn't make any sense. We like weekly W's. Should we not like monthly W's? In fact, somebody on the site asked about this recently. They had posted monthly W's in their shitcoin charts. And I was like, well, if we like W's on lower time frame charts, we're going to really like W's on higher time frame charts. So, I mean, that's absolute poetry. That's exact. And keep in mind, these are mutual funds, right? So this thing's not going off the board anytime soon. That's where I want to be long this thing. And these guys, they invest in growth stocks. So what a big surprise. When did they actually last peak? Back when Canada was actually last in a bull market. And this was the peak of the energy business, right? And the building out of the Canadian oil sands. Ironically enough, since that stupid Justin guy's been around here, this thing's just Canada has just gone into the shitter. I mean, and Canadian growth stories are absolutely getting destroyed because the guy's a fucking. This is what communism does to societies. But I get the impression that number one, he's lost his case. I mean, this whole stupid idiocy that we're never going to be using oil again. I mean, it's such a joke. Is a beautiful con job by the China D's and Winnie the Pooh. I mean, what a beautiful con job, right? We're going to convince everybody. We're going to keep building more coal plants. So any kind of greening that you're going to be doing, we're going to offset that by just an absolute shitload amount. In fact, I think it's something like all of the industrialized nations all combined don't even match the amount of CO2 that China is spitting into the atmosphere on an added basis annually. I mean, it's embarrassing. So, but they're going to try and con everybody into using these battery powered cars that they're going to build in China, and they're going to dump, or not China, in China, and they're going to dump on the Western market. And Mr. Trump, with him winning the election, and their latest plan was to go and buy up assets in Mexico and buy up huge automotive plants, build their battery powered cars in Mexico, and then dump them on the American market cheap. And Mr. Trump just said, nice try. So that's why I think your Mexican peso is in trouble now, because that whole plan got completely the kiboshed on it. So China now is sort of scratching its head. And the last thing that China wants to do is basically have to build plants in the United States, which is basically what every other nation in the world has had to do. Like the Japanese have gotten really good at it, where they basically own the US auto market, a huge chunk of it, and all of the cars are actually built in the United States. And so the American politicians are happy, American workers are happy, Japanese are happy. Well, maybe not domestically. All right. Oh, I know that damn spell. Now, there's a good example of one that I wanted to buy, and you want to see how close I came to getting filled on that? And sometimes you look like an absolute genius, right? And you know, everybody loves being geniuses. I don't know if this, hopefully this doesn't have the account and all that crap on it. Oh, I gotta sign in again. Darn. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna go through all that with you guys here, but I'll show you the chart. Oh, this one. Over here. Oh, look at that. Coin's coming off a bit now. And we're getting awfully nosebleedy here. I don't chase, for God's sakes, don't. What I've been telling everybody on the site today is great. You know, maybe this thing pops up to 1.618. Usually 1.618 is a no-brainer trade level. For example, here when we ran up into 1.618, you know, letting some go and waiting for the consolidation is the right thing to do. And then maybe you hunt for a new bot entry to get you back in on the long side, whatever. But coming in on the buy side here, I think is very foolish. At the very least, just let this thing settle down, right? Just give us some sort of consolidation. And if anything, kind of what I showed you on that weekly chart, but I think you can probably just do it here. You know, at this point now, what we should be thinking, I think, is, well, what's 38.2s? Because at any given point in time, price should come back to 38.2s. So where's the little thing? There it is. 38.2 is right there. So we could very easily see the market easily melt right back down into these levels. And remember, I'd said on like the weekly price chart or the higher time frame chart, if you actually get any material breakdown here, you probably just want to walk away from those higher time frame bot setups at scratch. This one, lower time frame one, coming out of the other side of the election, I think it hit its profit objective. And like I said, I think the best thing for everybody and for this whole space is just, can you please just calm down a little bit? We don't want to be up like, $2,500, $5,000 on a day. This market will do this sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that this is, we don't want to, at this point here, we want things to settle down. That's just my opinion for whatever it's worth. Okay, so just taking a quick boo at your spell. I couldn't believe this one the other day because I would have already gotten a double on this one. That's what pisses me off about this. So there is the price chart. And look where my bid is. And I wanted to show you, like, I posted the actual orders on the site. And I think it was in I might have done it in the little old lady room. I'm gonna have to reload the account and do all the 2FAs and all that shit. So I don't want to do that while on air. But I think I posted all the bids here on the site recently. The little old lady room is getting very, very active though. And I would imagine, now for the next year, we used to have a guy on the site. His name on the site cheekily was Farmer Dave. He was in the DeFi space, farming coins, POS, all that kind of stuff. Then everything went absolutely crazy. And into the 21 peak, his name affectionately changed to Astronaut Dave. And I have a feeling that we're about to go through exactly the same thing again. So it'll be interesting to see how many of our little old lady room participants. There's a couple of you that I've mentioned specifically who are just loading up, buy, down at the bottom end of the range here. Man, holy crap, you guys are going to make so much goddamn money. It's ridiculous. We will see millionaires made here over the next year, folks. It will happen. You never know who. And then the worst part about it is that the subsequent year, 2026, 2027, we're probably going to see a lot of that money given all right back. And it's just the way that this stupid game goes. So try and pay yourself on the way up. It really makes a big difference. Ah, darn, I can't find that order sheet. Maybe, you know what? I might have put it in my trade room. I tell you, this is life-changing events time, folks. Now, between now and the end of the year, and the worst part about it is into August, September, October of this coming year, that's when you're going to have Gucci sweater wearers coming out talking about how wonderful and how easy it is to get rich in crypto. You don't hear too many people talking right now. If anything, what I'm hearing, actually, the smart people are actually talking about, all right, how am I going to build my exit strategy? Do I have accounts on multiple exchanges? So then that way I can liquidate. Do I have multiple bank accounts all set up so that, when it comes time to move 100 G's off an exchange, your accounts aren't frozen, right? That's the kind of shit that you should all be working on right now to get all that stuff in place so that all of the shit that you've bought here over the past year with good old Beamish, when this stuff goes crazy, you have a strategy in place and you're not scrambling to try and figure out how to, get on the other side of KYCs or get bank accounts set up and all that kind of crap. Because keep in mind, once the market goes crazy and 1% starts hearing about, oh, well, the crypto kids are all rich now, and that's when they start fucking putting the kibosh on, well, we're not gonna let you attach a bank account now. You got to get all that stuff done now. Anyway, no, darn, I don't even have the note on here. Anyway, you can see where the alarm was. I literally missed getting filled on this spell by the alarm actually went off, but my order was sitting at my 78.6. I had it at 460. And I suppose in the video tomorrow on the site, if anybody's curious, I can show you. But on the Kraken, I still have the order working at 460, right at the goddamn 78.6. And look how the market came down. It actually tripped up the alarm. The alarm went off. And then what did it do? bastards. I mean, this is capitalism for you, eh? I mean, yeah, what can you do? So, anyway, still have the bid working, and I wouldn't even be surprised if this thing actually does come back down and give me a fill now. Because keep in mind, this stuff is insanely speculative. Might even argue half the reason why this thing popped the way that it did is probably somebody on social media said something about Danny or something like that. Maybe he did one of his fucking things, whatever. And that's a direct quote. I'm not making that up. And the damn thing went crazy. But anyway, I missed my double. So I have to wait for the next bus, and hopefully on an ABCD stab, I can get filled down here, and I'll get it on the next go. All right, that is past 1 o'clock. So I hope I've filled you all with enough piss and vinegar to get you excited. The market is coming. Look at this. This is one of Sjord's names. So that's good to see this thing's moving. Although I'm not quite sure what happened there. I don't know the story here. I think that obviously that must have been some sort of reorganization or something. Anyway, just seeing these things out of a corner of my eye. Ooh, Zen. I've always liked Sand. Horizon, love these guys. Wow. And if I'm not mistaken, this chart looks crazy. Any money to be made here, folks? I mean, look at that. This isn't rocket science. The irony of it all, though, is that, in fact, I'll leave the video on this note. Let's see if you can answer this. This is the only business in the world when what? Let's see if any of you can answer this. And you all must know this. Excellent Glass Insights. I think Mr. Glass Insights, you are going to be very, very wealthy at the end of this year. In fact, actually, one guy I was helping with, I said, I wanted a royalty on his performance. I should charge all of you a royalty, like a 0.5% or something on your gross. All right, looks like you guys got the answers. So good on you for remembering. Adam, if you can bug Jim and Lizzie here to learn that. Another way to end this, and I think this is absolutely the perfect way to end this. What does that say? And ironically enough, there isn't really a right or wrong way to answer what that says. You have to be true to yourself, and you have to understand that, at any given point in time, the glass is either half empty or half full. It's just a question of your perspective. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Hit the like button, subscribe, ring Colleen's bell. We are coming up to our big sales event window here in November. Huge discounts. If you ever wanted to take the education program, or if you have friends that maybe it would be a good idea for them to learn how to build and run their small business of trading, we would absolutely love the referrals. We do have actually even referral business. Code your referral codes if you want to come on the site and earn a commission from referring people. We could really use the help. I think we've built a pretty solid community. I mean, we got 70, 80 people here watching this. And if you want to come in and participate on the site Monday to Friday, I think we have an absolute fantastic lounge. Really, really, people all work together. We have a whole bunch of different trading rooms that all speak to different approaches to the market. We have a very robust education program that we've been running now for 10 years, and that people on social media and stuff actually steal our concepts and rebrand it themselves. So maybe learn from the source. We'd love you dearly for it. If there's anything I can do to help, feel free to reach out. And of course, we'll have a great conversation on the site tomorrow, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do a good 2-3 hour lesson session, if you will, with the site. And of course, you got great content from Julian there every Thursday. And he even has a trading room on the site. Siort, of course, has got he's got our back for fundamental analysis in the crypto space, and he has his portfolios running too. So lots and lots of value at TRI. We would absolutely love to have you part of our community Monday to Friday. And of course, if you really want to learn how to run a small business of trading and set yourself up for success for this coming crazy ass crypto bull, the opportunity is there for you. It's waiting ready for you. All right. So thank you very much, PMA, for the win. Thank you very much for the best wishes with regard to Lily. Have yourselves a great rest of your afternoon. PMA for the win. All the best. And the only thing left to say to you good people is a hearty bye for now.